Welcome to Gen X Journeys, the podcast that's all about rediscovering, reinventing, and thriving. I'm your host, Paul Stroessner, and if you're part of Generation X, this show's for you. We dive into real stories of resilience, reinvention, and personal growth, all while celebrating the past and charging full speed into the future. Whether it's nostalgia-fueled throwbacks, inspiring conversations, or motivation to help you level up, Gen X Journeys is here to remind you your best days are not behind you. They're happening right now, and you're just getting started. So let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to Gen X Journeys. I'm your host, Paul Stroessner. And if you missed part one of my conversation with Dr. Linda Varisco, I'd encourage you to go back and start there. We talked about her life before everything changed, the heartbreak, the betrayal, the events that set her on a path she could never imagined. And today we pick up where we left off. Dr. Linda is the best-selling author of the Girl with the $1 Million Smile trilogy, and in this episode we're diving into one of the most difficult chapters of her life. Well, I mean, there was a few among them, and how she endured federal prison, rebuilt her life, and ultimately found purpose in sharing her story. So, Linda, welcome back to Gen X Journeys.
It's a pleasure to be here, Paul. We had so much fun the first time.
Yeah, definitely. This is my first two-part series of the podcast. Making history here. Yeah, so we kind of touched on it last time where when everything just came crashing down and you found out that you were getting a prison sentence. And it reminded me again, it was for 13 months, but then you had to serve 10.
It was a year and a day.
Yeah,
which translates in prison terms to 10 months.
Okay,
you have a choice of doing 7 at the camp and 3 at a halfway house, or 10 months at the camp.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you had 2 or 3 months to turn yourself in because they gave you a chance to see the kids graduate.
Right. They let me self-surrender. So I was sentenced in March, and then I had to self-surrender on June 1st, 2018.
Okay.
That was pretty memorable.
So what was that? It seems like a lot of your story, it's stuff that you see like on TV and the movies. You don't expect to see in real life, but it's actually happened to you.
Okay, so let me talk about the self-surrender.
Okay. Because
that was bad enough in itself.
Mm-hmm.
So June 1st, we leave my house. The camp is in Sumterville, Florida, which is basically outside of Orlando and Tampa, like 45 minutes. It is truly the asshole of the world. It is cow country, okay? So, my father's wife, Aunt Pat, she drove me there, and my daughter was the person responsible to play all the music. And my phone kept ringing, people saying goodbye, and I was just like, just let me go in there and get this over,
Mm-hmm.
So we get off the exit, and we're driving through cow country, and we finally wind up, it was called Coleman Camp. And Coleman is one of 5. So it's the camp, the low, the medium, and then 2 penitentiaries. All make up Coleman. You know Whitey Boulder? Remember Whitey Boulder?
Yeah, he's from up here.
He was in one of the pens.
Okay.
And the mob hit him on transport. He was dying with cancer, mm-hmm. and there was a hit. So they got him. It doesn't matter how many years later, they still got him. Anyway, the camp was completely open. And the women, it's a working camp. So the women handle the commissaries. The women handle the vehicles, the landscaping on the entire 25,000 acres of this property.
Mm-hmm.
And they have an area where you could work. So let me explain to you that the camp has no bars. We can freely. They do something called a recall at nighttime. You have to be in. They run a buzzer, a loudspeaker over the whole system, and at 8:30 we got to be inside. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Then 10 o'clock is called count. I never knew any of this stuff. So they count you. So you stand outside your bunk and they come around and they count to make sure all the girls are accounted for. Okay.
Was this was this like kind of open, or was it in a cell, or what was?
No cells, no
Okay.
nothing.
Yeah.
We had an open bunk, 2 people to a bunk. You know, one was on the top, one was on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So the day of the arrival, we turn off the exit, and we're driving like 20 minutes in the middle of nowhere. When I tell you cow country, and we pull up to what, you know, it says FCC Medium, Coleman. So my daughter's like, Ma, I don't know if this is the right place. So there's nobody in the parking lot, right? So she goes, Ma, stay in the car. She gets out, buzzes, and an officer, you know, answers her, can I help you? She said, my mom has to surrender by 12 o'clock. Now, if you're not there by 12 o'clock, you're considered runaway, and then the marshals are out, whatever, on the lam or whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like 20 after 11. She knocks on the door. He says, is this the right place? He goes, yes, you're in the right place. And the door's open, and this guard comes out to talk to my daughter. And he asks her my name, and he goes, yeah. He says she has to be in here by 12 o'clock. So my daughter says, okay. And she comes back to the car, and she said, Ma, this is the right place. You have to be in by 12 o'clock. You want to go and grab a cup of coffee? I look and I go, we're in the middle of nowhere. 20 after 11. The exit's like 30 minutes or 20 minutes from here. I said, are you kidding me? She goes, okay, so we sat in the car. Now I knew they were going to do this strip search, and I knew what was coming. So I definitely wore old yoga pants and old sneakers and stuff. Yeah. So everybody was quiet. The 3 of us was quiet in the car. It was like you could hear a pin drop. And I said, you know what, Gianna? I'm going in. I got to get this over with. Sitting here with you guys in this moment of silence is not helping. Okay. Yeah. We just go in and get this over with. I said, okay, listen. I said to my father's wife and my daughter, I said, I'm going to walk through that door. I am not looking back. Okay. Because it's hard enough to do this. Mm-hmm. So as I approached this place, the doors opened, and I said to them, I said, bye-bye. I turned around. I blew them a kiss. I heard my daughter from the depths of her soul let out a cry. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. And I never looked back. I walked in, closed the door. The guard said to her, he said, don't worry, we'll take care of her. You know, 10 months is like a long weekend around here. And then the doors closed. Now I was in receiving. So this guard comes out, another guard comes out. He goes, hi, I'm Officer Nasser. I'm here to process you. And so they gave me some water, a bologna sandwich. It's kind of like surreal. And they fingerprinted me. They took the pictures. They make an ID card for you. And they ask you a million questions about your sexual preference, because there's a lot of, in the camp, they have an expression. It's called gay for the stay and straight at the gate. So you have people that are having regular relationships with their husbands, but when you're away for 10, 15 years, you wind up having gay relationships in there. It's a very common thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they asked me about these questions. Then came the strip search, which was totally humiliating. But my attorney had prepared me with a lady who had been through it, and she talked me through the whole thing because I knew what to expect. And knowing what to expect is a little better than, hey, you're going to go through a strip search and not be prepared. So I was able to wear, able to wear like a religious thing. So my mother had given me this cross that she got in Italy that was Murano glass. So I got to wear that. Everything else was taken off of me, thrown in a garbage bag, and that was it. Mm-hmm. It was fitted with some clothes. And then everybody in the camp wears green. We look like park rangers, okay? And on the weekends, we're allowed to wear gray sweats. That's literally your entire outfits for, the time that you're there. So they put me in what looked like beige scrubs that were like 3 times too big for me. They didn't even have a sports bra or a bra that would fit me. They gave me 2 rubber bands to tie, the girls in because it was, I don't even want to go into it. And they gave me some canvas shoes. And then some guard comes in, an inmate comes in and takes me onto the main campus. He wasn't overtly friendly. She wasn't mean, but it's like she does this. So she takes me out. I get into the main campus. Everybody's walking around. It's like 12 o'clock on a Friday, right? Maybe 1 o'clock by this point. And so the girls were out for lunch. And here I am walking around in gray scrubs. So everybody knows you're the new person coming in, right?
Right.
So she takes me to show me where education is, where I'm going to be eating, where the gym is, this little room that they call the gym. And then she takes me to the chapel because they have to accommodate Catholic, Jewish, Protestant, Spanish masses, all sorts of every kind of religion. So the girls at the chapel have something called the Helping Hands. They gave you a bag. This woman's name, she said to me, "Nice to meet you." She goes, "Where's your bunk?" And I looked at my card. I said 162. And she looks at me and she goes, "Welcome, bunkie." I didn't even know what a bunkie was, but obviously I was her roommate. So she gives me this bag of like a toothbrush, flip-flops, anything to survive until Monday, until they fit me with the right clothes, right? And everything else that happens. And she takes me to the bunk, and there's 4 dorms, 1, 2, 3, 4, F1, and I was in F1 where they tend to put the older people, like over 50. And I was older than her, but she was on the bottom bunk, so guess what? I had the top bunk. Yeah. And she said, "This is your locker." And when I tell you it was a 2x4 locker, to put all your stuff in. And she gave me a lock to be able to lock it. And I sat there like a deer in the headlights, Paul. And I felt the tears starting. Like the reality of this shit is really happening now, right? So she takes my hand and she leads me out to, we have a track. 4 times around the track is a mile. Mm-hmm. She puts her sunglasses on me and she says to me, "Come on, honey." And she walked me arm in arm around that track. I don't know how many times. Oh. She said to me, "If you're going to cry, you need to do it now and get it out here, because otherwise the girls are going to eat you alive." Mm-hmm. This is your reality, Linda, for the amount of time. And that is, oh my God, my phone is ringing. I'll just ignore that for now. And this is your reality right now. So I walked around with her. She brought me back. It might have been like an hour we walked around. I calmed down. And then I had to learn the way of the land. And she explained what a count was. Like in the morning, we have to stand up. They have to count us. Then they count us at night. She explained about the showers, about the meal times. And within 2 weeks of being there, I got it. I said to myself, I put a calendar up above my bunk, and I said, I'm going to cross off the days, and I'm going to get through this. And that was my attitude. Mm-hmm. So over the 7 months that I did spend in the camp, I read 52 books.
Wow.
I learned how to crochet, and I wrote my book. Wow. So when you get to the camp, you have to work. So if you don't pick a job, they will pick one for you. Mm-hmm. So kitchen didn't appeal to me. Housekeeping didn't appeal to me. Working on the automotive didn't appeal to me. I don't remember how to change a tire at this point in my life and change oil and all this stuff. Working at the commissary, that didn't sound so bad. I went for the more educated positions, like working in the library. They were all taken. Uh-huh. They were all taken. So they have, now I'm going to explain to you about slave labor that the prisons do to their people. Right. Mm-hmm. So there was this older lady, her name happened to be Linda. She was a psychiatrist. And she said to me, "Linda, I'm going to tell you that the best place to work is Unicorn. I go, what the hell is Unicorn? She goes, you see those two buildings over there? That's Unicorn. She goes, they start you at 49 cents an hour. I go, oh. She said, then they move you up to 89 cents an hour. And then if you're there over a year, you make $1 an hour. And then you get overtime. I go, why would I do that? She goes, because it gets you out of the main campus. And all the drama and all the crap amongst the women happen on the main campus. Mm-hmm. She goes, you'll work overtime. We'll be the first to eat. And I said, you know what? That's a great idea. So I did it. And I got this job. They put me in receiving and delivery. Well, that was craziness. These two girls, by the way, in the camp, you're not allowed to touch each other. Mm-hmm. So if you touch, you get what's called a shot. 3 shots, they throw you in county and you're behind bars eating dog food.
Oh, geez.
And you never come back to the camp.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Huh. So you really have to watch your P's and Q's there. Mm-hmm. So these two girls were going at it, fighting in receiving and delivery. And I was like, you want to just stay away from these, mm-hmm. Girls. Because remember what I told you, 3 sections, Blacks, Hispanics, and all other. Everybody else. Mm-hmm. So I was the all other. So I went to the guard after a day of that. The following day I went in, I said, do you have any other positions besides receiving and delivery? He says, yes, you could be a row girl. He goes, I have row G and H open. I said, I'll pick row G because of my daughter. Then we call her G. So I picked row G. I went to my row and he goes, oh, there's no chair there. And he gets me a brand new chair, which by the way, the next day the girl stole on me. Oh, but okay. No, it's that bad. Uh-huh. So I had to receive inventory. Like when stuff came in, you had to log it in on your sheet. And then when stuff went out for an order, you had to log it out and make up the shipment. It was really easy. And I learned how to work a pallet, what do you call those things that lift up the pallets? I can't think.
A forklift? Yep.
Yes, I learned how to work a forklift in between. So because we had stuff on higher shelves. It was kind of fun, actually. The days went very fast in there. Very fast.
How many hours did you work a day?
We got there at like 8. Uh-huh. I got there at 7:30. The warehouse was open at 7.
Okay.
So a lot of times I went for breakfast, grabbed a banana or something, and then went to work. Mm-hmm. The great part about the job was I had a desk. I was able to write. Mm-hmm. The job took me a total of an hour a day, maybe 2 hours if we got big shipments in. Uh-huh. And that was it. But we had a refrigerator in there, so we can make tea, and we snuck out milk from the main line, and we would make tea. The problem was in the summertime, that was Hades in there. Hades, no air condition. We're wearing these rayon green outfits with work boots, okay?
Mm-hmm. In the middle of Florida, yeah.
Yeah, very hot, okay? Mm. So the average day I would bring a change of panties because you're literally soaked to the bone, and I didn't want to get any infections in this camp. And then in the wintertime, it was so freaking cold because in Orlando, it gets down to 40 degrees.
Yeah, you would feel it. Yeah.
We would freeze in there. Mm-hmm. And then there is love bug season. Do you know what love bugs?
Yeah. My mom lives down there, and I've seen that. Yeah, these little bugs all over the place. Yeah, if you're driving, they're all over your windshield.
Okay, so love bug season, they're flying all through the warehouse, up your nose, in your ears. You're so sweaty, they're sticking to your face. It was just horrible. Mm-hmm. So you guys know I was a chiropractor, right? So these hands are what saved me. Mm-hmm. They are what saved me. So there was the row next to me was this Spanish lady. She wouldn't talk to me. Do you have any questions for me, or should I just keep going?
No, you're like, I have some questions down, and you're answering them as you're talking, so you're good.
Just do New York style and interrupt me, Paul.
Okay.
So this the girl next to me was from Puerto Rico. We had a lot of girls coming from Puerto Rico. They were in the cartel, transporting drugs. So one day, this bilingual girl, Ruth, comes up. She was in my dorm, and she said to me, Linda, they started calling me Doc, by the way, after this. Okay.
They knew you were.
Yes, they knew I was. They all know a lot of your business. So even though you don't tell them, that it kind of gets around. So she said, Mariana there can't move her neck. Do you think you could help her? And I said, yeah, I could help her, but we're not allowed to touch each other. She doesn't talk to me. She doesn't even speak English. So she said, could you help her? I said, yes. So what we did was we set up in my row, which was very big and very high. Mm-hmm. We set up a makeshift chiropractic table on a pallet. So I had the pallet, then I had, cardboard on top of it.
Oh, okay.
And I worked on her, and I did pressure points, and then I adjusted them. Mm-hmm. And somebody had to look as guard because you can't be touching each other, right? So we had a guard, not a real guard.
Yeah, somebody watch it. Yeah, for you. Yeah.
And she would like, Linda, if somebody was walking by and it was dangerous, but we were actually inside the row. They were metal rows, and they were high. So if you were walking by, you really couldn't see us back inside the row. Uh-huh. So I worked on this woman, and she felt better and, not really friendly. And she said, I pay you. That was what she said to me. And I said, no. It's no problem. And Ruth comes and she goes, she has to pay you. That's how it works in prison. It's a barter system. You help her, she helps you. I said, okay. So she pays me with 3 cardboard pallet liners. That's how she paid me. She gave me cardboard. To line the pallets with cardboard, you have to cut the cardboard up. Mm-hmm. To cut the cardboard up, you had to go rent an X-Acto knife from the tool room where they take your card. So you really, because they don't want inmates having that kind of stuff. It could be considered a weapon, right?
Right.
So the fact that she gave me 3, it was 3 less I had to cut. So then what happened was the Spanish mamas decided I was a good girl, and they were going to invite me into their circle.
Oh, wow.
And they would have their makeshift prison cafe con leche after lunch. They had these little cups. They started, let me tell you, it was horrible. But I drank it with them.
I didn't think I was going that way. Okay.
It was tasty. Like they put so much, we don't have cream or anything, right? So it's all powdered crap that they're using.
Oh, yeah.
With some sort of espresso version of coffee or whatever the heck it was. They would give me the thing. I would down it every day. It was a good jolt.
Right.
And they became my friends at work.
Wow.
So now I had the black mamas in the dorm, and I had the Spanish mamas at work taking care of me. Mm-hmm. Then they realized that I could draw. I had a full scholarship to art school, something I forgot to mention. And they make cards, and they send them home to their families. So now I'm making their cards for them, right? Could you draw me this? Could you draw? And they had gel pens. Oh, my goodness, sparkle gel pens. So I was able to draw and color. I mean, the simplest things you are so grateful when you run across them in prison. Mm-hmm. Let me go to the food in prison. Okay? Yeah. It is horrific. Mm-hmm. It is horrific. There are girls that work the kitchen. The food's so bad. We're on a line. We have a tray. We don't have a fork. We don't have a knife. They have a spork. So it's like a spoon fork thing that they, Right. If we came in with manners, we didn't leave with manners because we had to basically rip food with our fingers. Mm-hmm. So every lunch was the same thing. Monday would be tuna fish. Tuesday would be chicken patty. Wednesday would be hamburgers. The stuff was so bad that you had to put a lot of sweet chili sauce on there. Whatever you had to get it down. Uh-huh. Tater tots were not so bad. Some days they had fried fish on Friday. So generally Friday I didn't go at lunchtime. I just stayed at my desk. Uh-huh. and I ate apples and peanut butter. They gave us peanut butter packages, and you open the corner and you squeeze it onto the apple. That was definitely more tolerable than the burnt frozen fish cakes that they gave us that smelled horrible.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I wouldn't even trust the fish there.
You don't trust anything there.
Yeah,
babe.
yeah.
They were feeding us these green apples that my friend showed me. She goes, "Look, it says not for human consumption." I go,
Oh my God.
So what is it for? What do they feed it to horses? I really didn't know. It was crazy. It was absolutely. So I lost a lot of weight. I didn't really have a lot of weight to lose, but I lost a lot of weight. Because
on the last episode, we talked about how, a lot of women on average gain like 35 pounds. It's because of the shit. Yeah, because of the shit they're like putting in their body. That's not not meant for human consumption. Yeah.
Yeah, but they have treats at the commissary, like bags of chips, pretzels, animal crackers. So you could eat.
Okay.
I will tell you that the Spanish mommers used to make their own. They would make a big thing in the microwave, because the dorm had a microwave that we all had to share, and it had an iron. So they used to make quesadillas. They used to iron the quesadillas out. So you could get the cheese, that isn't refrigerated, all processed.
Right. Yeah.
So you kind of try to eat as healthy as you can.
Yeah.
With me, I walked that track. That was my salvation. My family put money on the commissary. Plus, I started to earn money. So you can buy these little portable iPod things, and you can listen to music. You can download for 50 cents a song, because we did have computers in the dorm, but we had no internet access. We only had what we had to check our emails coming in from our friends and family.
Yeah.
Okay. So then my bunkie, she says to me, "Linda, you need to schedule a video call for Thanksgiving and Christmas. If you don't do it now, you'll never have it." So they give you a 25-minute video call where your friends and family could actually see you. You got to be dressed in your greens and so forth. So for Thanksgiving, my whole family was together, and I was alone in this hellhole with my green army outfit on. And I did my video call, and I feel myself getting upset, but I didn't want my family to see that. So I got off my video call and I walked the track, because you don't know what else to do.
Right.
You make the best out of a very bad situation, Paul, and that's what you learn to do. And there was I started a Pilates class for the women. Did I tell you any of this?
You mentioned it on the last episode, but we didn't really get into it. So did you teach Pilates before that? Did you do Pilates before that? Okay.
Yes, I taught Pilates, Yogatis, we used to call it, yoga Pilates. I used to teach it to my patients on Monday night, because they'd always say, "Dr. Linda, how do you stay weight?" I go, "It's a combination of everything. You got to eat right. You got to keep your body moving, So I started, it was like 2 girls and me. And then other girls would walk up. And then before you know it, there would be 30 girls there. And I would we would do the class. And it was really, I did it twice a week. And it was Tuesdays and Saturday nights after visitation. And people loved it. And when it was really inclement weather, they let me use the visitation room to do the Pilates class.
So how did that work? Did you have to ask?
Yes. Now, let's talk about the guards, because that's so there were some female guards in there that were just horrendous, Paul, mean. And then there were some nice ones, and the same thing with the male guards. Some really nice ones and some real jerks. So this one night, I had to buzz into the main. They're like in a bank behind the glass, right? So I buzzed in at the glass, and then and I said, "Can I get into the visitation room? I'm teaching the Pilates." And the guy's like, "No," they just nasty with me. And then his wife was also a prison guard in there. And she's like, I could hear them. She's like, why'd you talk to her like that? Was that really necessary? I walked away with all the girls that were waiting to do the Pilates, and we kind of went outside and did it the best we could because the ground was kind of wet. So, they're just mean for the sake of being mean. Mm-hmm. And one time my father, power trips. Mm-hmm. One day my father witnessed, I didn't know in visitation that you're not allowed to go to the vending machines to get food. You're not allowed to have any money. So the first time I was in visitation, my dad goes, here, go get what you want. So of course I want ice cream. I want yogurt and fresh fruit, stuff that we didn't get. Mm-hmm. And the guard ripped me a new one, Paul, when I was at the machine. And I could see my father get upset, and he was ready. And I looked at my father and went, Dad, it's only 7 months. No Italian father or no father wants to see their daughter to be mistreated like that. It was horrible. Mm-hmm. And then there were some guards that were so nice. The visitation guards in general, the women were really nice. They all had the hots for my son and Steve when they used to visit me. They're like, who's that? That's, like just what I want to do, fix up with my son with some inmate's kid or, some guard, that's not how. So you go through a bunch of, they demoralize you. They call you inmate, never by your name. I became doc because I worked on so many women there. I really didn't even have to, the women would buy, what can I get you? You just did such a good job. All right, get me some chips from the commissary, or, it wasn't any big deal. Mm-hmm. So one night I was in my bunk. Friday was my favorite day because they had movie night. They had double features. So a lot of times on Friday night, the girls would come around and they would make like a Cracker Jack's popcorn. Mm-hmm. They would buy plain popcorn and then they would mix caramel in the microwave and make this the girls are very ingenious with their recipes and stuff. So I said, yeah, I want one of those. And she goes, okay, tomorrow I'll come and tell you what you need to buy me to get this. So she handed me this bag of prison version Cracker Jacks, which was delicious, by the way. Mm. And I was so excited because if you walked into the room, you couldn't hear the movies. You had to wear the thing to be able to.
Yeah, headphones, yeah.
So I go and I sit down. This is one of the first times. And remember I told you Bernie Madoff's secretary was in there with me.
Right, yeah.
And I sat in her spot. You have to bring your chairs in there. You have to carry the chair from your bunk. And you have to bring blankets because the dorm is normally at 62 degrees. Even in the winter when it's 40 outside, they're still blaring it. Mm-hmm. Why do they blare the air condition? Because there's mold everywhere. The showers are filled with black mold. Mm-hmm. This is what we go through when we're in prison. Nobody talks about this stuff.
No, yeah.
So you go in there, you wear your flip-flops because God knows you don't want to walk on the floor. And you're in these cubicles and I had maybe 10 hot showers in 7 months.
Wow.
It was terrible. I had a friend, she would flush the toilet and then I would get a spurt of warm water. When I told Steve as a plumber, he was hysterical laughing with that. I go, flush it. And then so you learn how to master a cold shower in 30 seconds or under.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when I had to wash this.
Your hair, yeah.
Right. So I had to go at the times that there was hot water left. Mm-hmm. After count at 10 o'clock at night, you wash your hair. But it was so cold in there. I had laundry. I had 3 blankets on my bunk because I was always so cold. Somebody had knitted me a hat. I had a hat, wore gloves. It was freezing in that dorm. Mm-hmm. Wow. It was a lot of crap. So there's one more thing I want to talk about is the gay relationship. Mm-hmm. So one night I'm laying on the top bunk. Now understand that everybody on the top bunk can see everybody else in the giant room because
Yeah.
we're on top. So you can see all the other women. There were 100 women per dorm.
Okay. Yep.
So I'm seeing 50 women up on the dump, on the top. These two lesbians started to get it on. Okay. And I usually sleep really good. But this night, for whatever reason, I rolled on my bad shoulder. It woke me up. And I'm laying in bed and they're moaning, you know? And I'm like, like with that, I'm trying like for 20 minutes. I'm trying to like go back to sleep with the, It's crazy. Then how many women are on CPAP machines? So you hear that thing going on, So after like 25 minutes, I just, because it felt like she was getting to the point where she was going to reach a crescendo, but it never happened.
Oh, jeez.
So finally, I just yell out, will you just come already? I must have been loud enough that like 20 girls started to laugh.
They're probably all thinking the same thing.
And everybody knew I said it because I have such a strong accent.
Right, yeah.
I didn't know where the rendezvous was happening. I could just hear the general vicinity of it. It was definitely happening on a bottom bunk because it wasn't happening on a top bunk. So, and they got really quiet after that.
Oh my God.
It was crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Wow. Do you have any questions for me? Because I could keep going.
Yeah. What else? All right. So you, I like that the idea that you started your book there too. Yeah. So you're like in prison there. You have nothing else to do but like with you get in your head, and so you
got to keep busy.
Yeah. Yeah. So the idea like came to your mind that I have.
No, I always wanted to write a book, but I never had the time raising two kids on my own. Mm-hmm. But then my life started to really get like book material after the whole prison thing. I go, that's it. I got the time. So I had a loose leaf paper and a pen. No way to type, no nothing. It was all done handwritten. And I would do different things. I would write different portions every day. Mm-hmm. And I kept it because if they found that in my locker, because they do searches, they would have taken that away.
Okay.
So I used to write most of the time at work. If I wrote in my bunk, I would write on a couple of pieces of loose leaf and then add it. So the stuff was hidden inside of a box. Mm-hmm. I knew where it was. I didn't want to confiscate it. And sometimes I wrote about happy stuff and sometimes I wrote about sad stuff, depending on my mood and how much I could handle on that specific day. Mm-hmm. When I wrote about the happy stuff and meeting my husband and stuff, it took me away. So it was really great. Mm-hmm. When I wrote about the sad stuff, it was very hard because I was already in a very, antagonistic atmosphere.
Right, yeah.
Visitation is interesting. You have visitation every 2 weeks.
Okay, yep.
So your family can come visit every 2 weeks. And then on national holidays like 4th of July, Memorial Day, it's open visitation so anybody can come. Mm-hmm. There was never a visitation that somebody didn't come visit me.
Oh, that's great. Did you have to pick a time, or was it picked for you, or how did that work?
Okay, so the family gets there. They have to fill out the paper. They have to be pre-registered. They have to do checks on them. If you're not on the list, you can't come and visit me.
Yeah.
Okay, so they get it in there. They pat them down. They run the wand over them. And then they send them in. And then once my visitor is there, I get a call on the loudspeaker. Linda, inmate, or the number. Oh, no, I think they said my name. You have a visitor. And then we would go. But I always knew when my family was coming. So we were allowed 300 minutes per month on telephone calls.
Okay.
Which go really fast, that they listen in. So I would call Steve more frequently than I would call my mother, and then I'd say, okay, call daddy, let him know my parents are divorced. Call daddy, let him know that I'm okay. And then I call daddy, let mommy know I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk to my kids and I talk to Steve mostly and
Mm-hmm.
occasionally to the attorney.
Oh,
And
so
when
so
your
the
time,
attorney was part of that too, part of those. But that wasn't like you didn't get like extra time with the attorney. It had to be that was lumped in with 300 minutes. Yeah.
yes, now they can come visit you at any time.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
I had a friend who was up in that area, one of my close friends, and she had a connection. And it's some judge that she knew. And he said, if you want to go visit her, I'll get you a day pass,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't know even existed. And so she got the day pass. She pulls up to the, like where I did with my daughter, and she pulled out. I never knew until I came out that she was right there and she wasn't strong enough to walk inside there. She was scared.
Oh
And,
wow.
and she
Oh.
didn't want to see me in a green outfit. Who cares? I look like, like I'm a park ranger.
Right. Yeah. But were there any moments when hope was hard to find, or did you always have in the back of your mind that the
Oh no.
7 months are going to go by?
The once I got past the initial shock of being there, Paul,
Mm-hmm.
I just did my time, and there were times where I felt hopeless, but I went on that track with my music, and I walked. I you do whatever you distract yourself enough. I love to read, never had time, so that was great for me. I read a lot of biographies in there. I learned how to crochet with a bunch of girls. I don't know. I made the time pass and
Mm-hmm.
got through it. There was this one time that Steve came to visit me, and we were outside because they have a visitation area that's outside. It's kind of enclosed.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I have a surprise for you. I go, knock something in here? He goes, yes. I go, where is it? He goes, I got to go to the bathroom and take him out. I went, am I going to get in trouble? You're scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he goes to the bathroom. I'm sitting out there waiting. I'm having my ice cream because, of course, he bought me ice cream. And he comes out and he opens his hand and he hands me 2 figs from the garden,
Oh.
from my own garden.
Uh,
They were warm because of where he kept them.
oh my God. That's hilarious.
Those figs, I was so excited by that. And there's one more thing I want to tell you. There was a woman who worked at Unicor where I worked,
Mm-hmm.
and her husband would pick her up. They'd have a conjugal visit, and then he'd drop her back off. But one day, the satellites caught it. That's considered an escape charge. That's 5 years added onto your sentence.
Mm-hmm.
They caught her on the satellite camera.
Oh jeez. Oh, no.
Wound up, she didn't get an escape charge. She did get a shot. She had to go to county for like 10 days of dog food, but then they brought her back. She was very lucky because it could have been, because she kept coming back.
Yeah.
But they're always, even though you don't see the cameras and stuff,
Yeah.
they're always
They're-
watching.
Right.
They have to keep track of you.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah.
crazy. There were wild turkeys there, wild boars, things I never saw in South Florida that, when you're in the bush there, you see some stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah. Unless you live there, you don't see that stuff. You see Mickey Mouse.
You don't see the pens, but you can hear them when they allow the guys to go outside and work out. Like they get an hour per day, and when you're in the penitentiaries, they're behind bars, but you could hear that, which was really scary.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. The camp was the only female part. The low, the medium, and the 2 pens were all men, so they didn't interact with us at all.
Mm-hmm.
I could keep going if you want.
Yeah. What other thing that comes to mind? Like you had talked about your husband, your ex, with the forgiveness part. How do you feel about the Ukrainians that were responsible? I'd say responsible for putting you in there.
I'm over it. I'm
Yeah.
so over it. I don't waste the energy on them.
Mm-hmm.
I told you the girl that they put in there, she disappeared off the face of the earth. So she ratted them out, and then I went along for the ride, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're not far from me. They don't talk to each other because I know a Ukrainian massage therapist that still keeps in touch with me.
Uh-huh.
So he told me when they got out, they didn't do a lot of time because COVID hit and good time. So 8 years became 4 for them.
Uh,
So
yeah.
they kind of lucked out on that, you know.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll won't be trying that again.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, that's just awful.
Yeah, awful.
Yeah. And I feel like the creativity stuff that you did that kind of helped you survive, and between that and that also helped with your with your chiropractor practice.
Yeah, I kept practicing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I
like all
probably
this
worked
resilience.
on at least 100 women over the 7 months I was there who had sciatica, who had migraines, who hurt their shoulder. You know, but I didn't have any equipment. I just had my hands.
Yeah.
I would do pressure points, whatever I needed to do to get them better, and I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I was really well liked. The day that Steve picked me up from the camp, you have to ride by the warehouse of Unicor.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought in the car all my favorite things, like the hard sourdough pretzels, all things I hadn't had, you know. We got one piece of watermelon for like 4th of July. We got a piece of cantaloupe one time. That was like the bomb to get a piece of cantaloupe, you know. Everything was out of the can, so all the vegetables were canned.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Like mush.
That's not the same,
and,
right?
And then if nobody ate the string beans and stuff, then they would put like a tomato base and make a soup and serve it to you the next day. You know, it was
gross. Yeah,
it was gross. Anyway, he picks me up and we're driving out of the camp. He has to drive me to the halfway house.
Mm-hmm.
And I got out of the camp at 9 o'clock in the morning with all my crochet stuff that I made and everything I wanted to take out of there. And he had to get me to the halfway house by 2 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And if I wasn't there on time, I would be considered, you know, then the marshals would be looking for me. So he drove like a bat out of hell to bring me home first so that we could have some private time before he brought me to the halfway house.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't come out as planned. I mean, I was in shock. As we were driving out of the camp, all the girls from Unicor went outside the door and were all waving to me. And I started to, you know, my eyes filled up with tears. And he goes, "Why are you crying?" I go, "I'm crying because they're still there."
Mm-hmm.
You know, 10 years, Steve, for these mothers that are away from their kids. It's just horrible.
Yeah, the kids are like growing up and they're missing everything. Yeah.
It's just so sad. The halfway house was a whole other story that I could do. They robbed me in the halfway house.
Who robbed you?
They robbed my roommate.
Oh.
I went into the bathroom. I left my pocketbook with my debit card, and she made a copy of it.
Oh, geez.
And tried to charge it on a Stripe with her own name. So after like a month that you're there, I think it was 3 weeks, they allow you to come home on the weekends.
Uh-huh.
But you can't leave the house. So you have to have a landline, and they have to be able to call you at all hours of the night, which they did.
Mm-hmm.
So one night I get a call from Wells Fargo. "Did you bill $500? I'm like, "No." So I went over to the computer and I looked, and there was my roommate's name.
Oh, wow.
I mean, like, how stupid are you?
Oh.
Like, world's dumbest criminals.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So
wow.
I went to one of the administrators in the halfway house, and he's like, you need to make a police report. I go, over my dead body. You think I want to wake up with a pillow over my head?
Right.
Room with her?
What a
No
position.
way.
Yeah.
So he goes, no, we're going to move her to a different room. And the cops did come. I had to do a statement. She was at work during the time. And then that night they moved her to another room upstairs. And the next day the marshals came and got her.
Oh wow.
I don't know if she was 2 weeks away from being totally free.
Oh jeez. Yeah.
I don't know if she wound up back in county. I don't know if she got more time. I really don't know. And I really don't care. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like after if she did make it those 2 weeks, she would have been back to doing
yeah,
stealing, sounds like. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's that word recidivism. What's the chances of these girls coming through and being rehabbed enough not to repeat their, So I remember my attorney saying, Judge, you will never see this woman standing in front of you again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. But all these other people, they can't even make it on the outside. This is what's so sad, Paul.
Yeah.
They can't. They don't know anything but selling drugs. So they're going to work and get a job at an ice cream parlor making $13 or $15 an hour, or they're going to sell a brick of drugs for $35,000.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just so frustrating. It feels like, they don't want to rehabilitate you in prison. They want to keep the customers coming back. And yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why it's a repeat generational cycle over there.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much the white collar people,
right? Yeah,
the educated people, but a lot of these other people that they're just going to go back in.
Yeah, because they don't know anything else.
They don't know how to live.
Right, and they're not getting the help to,
Yes, in the halfway house they have classes you have to go to, and there was this one guy I made friends with. His name was Red because he had this bushy red beard and he was a ginger, and he left on a Friday night for his weekend, never came back.
Oh, geez.
So he either went on a drug heyday, and then the marshals are then you're on the lam until they find you, and then you're going back to prison. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. It's just like, don't know anything else, scared, and maybe subconsciously they want to, get caught and...
and go back where they get 3 meals a day and, their life is very structured. I don't know.
Yeah. Meals, quote unquote.
Yeah, meals, quote unquote. Yeah.
Do you keep in touch with anybody that you met?
I do.
There? Yeah.
So I was in with this woman who got 33 years. I think I mentioned her to you. She got out and reached out to me last June. And I go, Marion, how are you calling me? She goes, I'm out. President Trump, he pardoned me. And I said, oh my goodness. We spent about an hour on the phone. She gave me, when I left, there was this girl named Alcy. She was a Black woman. I loved her. She was so depressed. She lost her husband. She lost her kid. She got sentenced to a lot of time. She was in pain a lot. I worked on her a lot. She took care of me and I took care of her. When I left, I took off my Murano cross and I put it on her neck. And I said, when you come out, you give it back to me. And she said, okay, well, she's out. But turns out she got into a fight with somebody, was sent to county, and she lost the cross. So my mother was very upset that I gave that cross away. Very, very upset. But I wanted to. I felt so bad for the woman.
Yeah, and it probably helped at the time.
So she's out. Marion's out. My roommate, Marion did 16 years before she was pardoned. So in October of 25, I put a pardon application in, which, by the way, is 25 pages of essays. It's not like, oh, let's fill in the blank, date of birth and address. No, essays. Why do you want to get out? What did you learn that's going to make you a better person in the real world? It was, and I printed up the application and I spent a lot of time writing those essays. Then I brought them to my father's wife. I go, what do you think? Should we reword this? And then finally, I uploaded it into the site. So as of October of 2025, I have my application in to be pardoned. Oh, wow. And I hit the submit button, and that was when the government was closed. Remember October
Oh,
last?
right. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I get to say, I'm sorry, the government is currently on furlough. I'm like,
Oh, right.
oh, God. But then they did log it in that it was received during October.
Okay.
I've been writing letters to the pardon department, and I've been sending letters to Trump, hoping that, I mean, my pardon would be after sentence completed, you know, but I need to lose the restitution that's over my head
Mm-hmm.
of 5.7 million dollars.
Wow. Wow. Oh, so when does when does the sentence officially over?
The sentence, well, the jail time is over when you get out and you
Right.
finish at the halfway house. But then I had 3 years of probation
3
that
years.
I didn't
Okay.
even realize. Because when he slammed that gavel down, I
Yeah,
never heard the rest.
you were out of body. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had 3 years of probation. I had to report to a probation officer. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she comes and does a house check. And she goes, in the backyard, she goes in my gardening tool and she pulls out a machete. She goes, "This has got to go," she says to Steve. He goes, "What's the difference between that and the kitchen knives in the kitchen? What's the difference?" He goes, "This is a weapon." He goes, "So is that."
Right. Yeah. It depends how you use it. Yeah.
So he had to get rid of the machete. My son had, nunchucks and stuff, when he was doing taekwondo. All that crap had to go to my mother's house.
Uh-huh.
Until I was done with probation, 3 years. It really wasn't bad. I had a good probation officer. She really didn't bother me much. She knew that I wasn't going to get involved with drugs. I was working. It wasn't a problem. The restitution is what I really want to get out of.
Mm. Yeah.
And by the way, restitution follows you 20 years.
Oh, okay.
So I was 56 when they gave me it. So it'll come off when I'm 76 years old.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So what, like anytime you make money, they take it, or do you have to pay like so much?
When you're on probation, you have to when you're in the halfway house,
Mm-hmm.
you have to copy your check, cash it, and then give them 20% of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's like pays the room and board. I think it was 20%. It might have been more. I don't really remember. And then when you're working, you have to send back 10% back to the government, U.S. Treasury Department. Basically, the IRS, U.S. Treasury, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. When I stopped being on probation, I stopped sending money in. And that was a while ago. Nobody's bothered me.
Okay.
However, when I turn 65 and I reach Medicare, they're going to garnish it 10%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My Social Security.
Yeah.
This is the way of the system keeping people down forever. People make mistakes, and then you got to suffer for the rest of your life from it.
Yeah, that just frustrates me so much because I think the mistake was that you got scammed, basically. It's not like you were like doing all this.
No, I wasn't, but I did know I shouldn't have let them use my tax ID number, so I do take responsibility. If you ask any girl that's in prison, she'll tell you she's not guilty. Mm-hmm. I was one of the few that said, "Hey, I screwed up. I let them use my tax ID number."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But nothing was performed that wasn't billed. I mean, that was legit, but they didn't even believe it was legit because of how they were getting the patients in the first place. So as far as the government's concerned, the FBI, it was all a big scam.
Right, yeah. Yeah, so now, like, this basically would, like, affect your credit. Like, if you wanted to do something, they'll see that you owe this $5 million or whatever.
It hasn't, I bought a car. It didn't.
Okay.
I traded my car and I bought another one that did not come up. Mm-hmm. I don't think it comes out. Like, my credit is really good right now. Mm-hmm. So, no. They tried to put a lien on my house. That was removed, thank God. So I own my house, but they took all my life savings, the 401ks and everything.
Yes, they
cleaned out and any account that I had with Steve Mutual, they took that money too. But then my attorney got it back.
Oh, okay.
So, and they did that with my kids too, because my kids were young, so their account, the savings account, was in their name and my name, at the time when they were started. So, yeah.
And one other thing that with everything you've been through, I've been big advocate for like mental health out here. I'm assuming you go to like therapy, or
No,
no,
I
no,
don't.
no,
I don't.
no.
I don't go. I never went for therapy. I always had good friends and family that I couldn't talk to and share my sadness with,
Mm-hmm.
and I just didn't go. That I will tell you that the depression that I saw in the camp was off the charts, and it was
Mm-hmm.
so sad, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
They had them on these cocktails of drugs and
Oh,
anti-seizure stuff that would make them sleep. I don't know. It
oh,
was
jeez.
terrible. It was horrible.
Mm.
My friend Alcy, I can't tell you how many times I would come back from work and I'd find her under the covers, curled up in a ball,
Oh.
and I would, stroke her arm. I'm like, Alcy, what can I do for you? Let's go for a walk. Let's talk. It was so sad.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
There was
Yes.
one more story, if you'll allow.
Sure. Yeah. Always allow your stories.
Okay. So they have a chaplain. So if
Mm-hmm.
somebody dies and you hear the chaplain over the loudspeaker with your name, you know somebody in your family died.
Mm-hmm.
So this one night, we were all back in the dorm. It had to be like 8:30 at night, maybe 9. And the chaplain calls this one girl over the loudspeaker. She goes to meet him because we're not supposed to leave the dorm, right? After a certain point, she goes to meet him. She comes back. Her son was murdered. He was in a gang. She didn't come from the best.
Mm-hmm.
So here she is, a mother that just lost her son, and she can't go to his funeral. She can't do anything like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she comes back to the dorm. It's lights out. It's like after 10 o'clock. And she cries from the depths of her soul, Paul. Like crying, and so like a mother that loses a child. There's nothing worse than that. And
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that I was crying in my bunk, and I guarantee that there were 30 other women crying there with her, that
Mm-hmm.
were mothers that couldn't imagine what it's like to lose a child and not even be able to go to the funeral.
Yeah. Yeah.
She got out about a month before me, and
Mm-hmm.
I said goodbye to her. And she goes, "You know where I'm going first?" She goes, "I'm going to the cemetery
Cemetery.
to say goodbye to my son."
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh,
just
so
cry
heartbreaking.
just thinking about it.
Yeah. Like just like being in there and not to be able to see kids as it is, and then that happens, and you're never gonna see them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was this one, oh, and if your case had anything to do with firearms,
Mm-hmm.
you have no chance of going out on furlough.
Uh,
And her case had to do with firearms. So
geez.
she wasn't allowed. Now, there was another woman who was like 50 at the time. Man, she looked like she was 80, this poor thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she was one of those people that ate herself to death.
Mm-hmm.
Big woman. Her husband died. I used to see her with her husband at visitation,
Uh-huh.
and he died in a massive heart attack. They actually let her leave for 48 hours
Mm-hmm.
to drive to Georgia, to bury him, to go to the funeral. She went out for Chinese food. She was never so excited. And then she had to come back.
Mm-hmm.
She came back glowing, like, you think, that she was able to at least bury her husband.
Mm-hmm.
She did the math. She goes, "Yeah, we were married blank, blank years." And I started to do the math. She goes, "Yeah, we got married. I was 15. I go, "Okay." Like I was processing the numbers. She was definitely from the sticks in Georgia.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh,
a lot of sadness, a lot of funny things happened.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if there was anything that made you laugh in prison. You
Plenty
mentioned the
of
sex story, but yeah.
plenty of things. We had this one woman. She was in Amazon, and we had a row of sinks. We used to brush our teeth, right? At nighttime, you brush your teeth. Well, she was so big that her privates were level with the sink. And one night I was there with this other Spanish mama, and I looked over, and she was washing her private parts in the
In the
sink,
sink.
like 2 sinks down from us. Like, why aren't you in the shower, for God's sake? So this girl, she looks at me, I look at her, I started to laugh. I just, the shit that you see, we used to clean off makeup off our face. So I'll tell you all about that too. So she ran out. She reported her to the girl that cleans the dorms. And the next day, it was posted on all the sinks. No pushy washing in the sinks where we have to brush our teeth.
Oh, my God.
Put that, and then in Spanish, too. This woman was an Amazon. The day she arrived, she couldn't even fit, like, her on the bunk. Mm-hmm. Her legs were this far off of the bunk. The only way she could fit in the bunk was in a fetal position on her side.
Uh-huh. Oh, wow.
It was crazy. It was crazy. So one day, we eat in the dorm. We make like packets of rice or whatever those ramen soups.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And one day, I see this woman take a tampon, and she's washing her dishes with the tampon. And then so they use the tampons as sponges there. Mm-hmm. Because we don't have any sponges. And then they throw it away because there's an unlimited amount of Kotex and sponges in the thing. And I'll tell you another crazy thing. They deliver toilet paper to your bunk. You get 2 toilet papers a week. Mm-hmm. I go, why isn't the toilet paper in the bathroom? Like, answer me this question. So the woman looks at me and she goes, what's wrong with you? We're in with a bunch of animals.
Yeah,
they throw the toilet paper all over the place. So one day, a fight almost got out because one girl accused another girl of stealing her toilet paper.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. And then if you have to wake up at like 2 a.m, I'm a little older, to take a pee, I had to climb down the bunk, grab my toilet paper,
right,
walk probably a block away because we were on one end of the dorm and the bathrooms were on the other, take your pee, and then walk back, climb up. It was horrible. So I learned not to drink after a certain time at night because I didn't want to have to pee during the night.
Right.
I think it happened maybe 7 months, in the 7 months, 3 times. It's crazy. Well, I just could talk from now until doomsday about stuff that I witnessed.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, because, unless you've been there, like, none of us know what it's like in there. So yeah, it's good to hear from
wasn't
not TV.
Yeah, it wasn't as vicious as they make it, like Orange is the New Black. It wasn't vicious like that because these girls were afraid to touch each other because you get thrown out.
Right, yeah.
So it was really a no-touch policy. I did witness a lot of verbal fights. They told me that 2 weeks before I got there was a there was a huge altercation in where we eat called the Main Line. 2 girls got into it. One girl broke the other girl's jaw. She wound up being in the hospital. It was a nightmare. And both of those girls will never return back to the camp.
Oh, wow.
Just craziness.
As far as prison shows, I loved Wentworth.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I think it's an Australian show. I think it's on Netflix, but
Wentworth? What is it called?
Wentworth. W-E-N-T.
Wentworth. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's on Netflix now, because then I started watching that, and then I tried watching Orange is the New Black, and it wasn't any good compared to Wentworth, so I loved that.
Yeah.
But
I remember when Orange is the New Black came out.
Yeah, that was huge, yeah. There's a Gen X connection there because I think Andrew McCarthy was involved with that show. I don't know if he was a producer or he directed and stuff, so yeah. Yeah, so if anyone's listening today that's like made any mistakes that they feel like can't come back from, what do you want them to know?
They're just chapters in your life. And just like the chapter will start and end, these bad times will do the same. You gotta get through them. That's all you gotta do. And then, you don't define your life by the bad times. Because let's face it, life's a roller coaster. And when we're on the top, we enjoy the ride. It's when we're on the bottom that we really do the most learning and growth. Those are the growth spurts in our lives, not when we're up here, when we're down there. That separates the women from the girls. So
I love that analogy because, yeah, if you're like down, you go up from there. So, yeah,
Right,
yeah, yeah.
right.
I
But
love
when
that.
you're up here, you're not learning, you're just living and enjoying your life. But
Yeah.
when you get to the bottom, that's when you really got to put your big girl panties on and
Hmm.
like figure it out,
Hmm.
you know?
Yep.
I always
Yep.
talk about the big girl panties because I felt like I had to put mine on, and
Yeah.
suck it up and get through it.
Definitely. Yep.
And you know what? The 7 months really went like that.
Oh, yep. Yep. I was gonna
The
say that too.
hardest day was Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Hmm. Yeah, the holidays and stuff. But
Oh,
those are the only ones that you were away from them anyway, right? So
well, I
yeah,
was 4th of July. I was in there, but
yeah. But I mean, the only like Thanksgiving and Christmas that you missed was,
were the big
yeah,
ones. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. And my family felt the loss as much as I did by
Right.
not
Yeah.
having me
I
there.
bet. Yep.
You know.
Hmm.
So, but I did video conference with them. I got to see them for 25 minutes.
Hmm.
And then this little button goes on the bottom of the video. It's like 3 minutes, and then it starts
A
to
countdown.
count down.
Yeah.
And then you don't have it really. I go out there, if they cut me off, I'm say goodbye, and then boom, you just got a screen in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
But the same thing when you're on a phone call, if you exceed 15 minutes, it just shuts you off.
Right. Yep. Yep.
So,
Uh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just back for a second about the ups and downs. Um, I've done therapy, do therapy, and my therapist actually told me that life it's like an EKG. When the EKG is like it's always going up and down, up and down. But if it's like flat, that means you're dead. So then nothing's happening. So
right.
there are
That's
going
a
to
good
be ups and
analogy.
downs. It's part of life. So
It is part of life. Who doesn't
yeah.
have? Well, I remember I asked you, "Is your life turned out the way you wanted?" You know, listen, I knew my life was going to be an experience. Did I think that prison was going to be
No.
part of that experience? No.
Yeah.
But at this point in my life, I don't really care. It's just part of who Linda is. That's
Hmm.
why I wrote the books. That's why I'm doing podcasts so that people can hear the story. And
Yep.
don't define your life by the bad times. It's just everybody goes through them.
Yep. Yep. That's right. And then you wrote your books about it. Can you tell people where they can find your books?
Yes, you can find them on Amazon.
Hmm.
And you can find them. This is the cover of the book.
Yep. The girl with the $1 million
And
smile.
yeah, and you can find them on Audible
Hmm.
because you'll enjoy them on Audible because it's in my voice, and I think it's kind of entertaining. So
So you enjoyed reading it. How was that experience reading?
reading my own book,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, because when it was printed, there were quite a few mistakes in each book. Book
Hmm.
two being the worst. So I had to wind up going through it. Had to talk to the publisher, and he had to pull it down and then put it back up. But it's pretty good now. You might find a mistake or two, but that's okay. Nothing's
Yeah.
perfect in life
No.
anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have a
If
feeling
you
it's your voice anyway. So yeah, you just go with it.
so this is my name, Linda Varisco.
Uh-huh.
If you go to lindavarisco.com, you can see a lot of the videos, podcasts I did.
Yeah.
Whatever. You guys know the story now, so. And Paul,
Yeah.
thank you for having me. It was great.
Yeah, thank you again. It's twice in this week. I love it.
Yeah.
And then, do you want people to follow you, like on TikTok?
Oh,
Or
yeah. I go live on TikTok under the life of Mr. Peaches because I rescue baby squirrels. So I go on live and I tell my story. And a lot of times, what's interesting, Paul, is women come on. They want to talk to you. They want to tell you about their problems. So a
uh,
lot of times I just let them come on and let them talk.
mhm.
Sometimes just having a woman that understands another woman, it helps them. I had
Yeah.
a lady from Trinidad jump on my live a week ago, and she's like, I lost my husband. I feel lost. And I just, there were a bunch of people on the live listening to it. And I just,
Hmm.
listen, honey, you still have your life to live. And if he was sitting here right in front of you, what would he say to you? Live your life. You got kids. She goes, I never want to be with another man. I go, I'm not telling you to be with another man. I'm just telling you to live your life out. To me, I think that we're social beings, and I think, okay, maybe she's not looking for a sexual relationship with a man or a woman, but maybe she
Hmm.
could have a a friendship that they go to the movies together or out to dinner or something, you know?
Yep.
So
Yeah. We are social
I
beings. So yeah.
this is when I lost my husband and I was pissed at him, but I still grieved. I
Hmm.
grieved. I find that you put it in a quieter place in your heart and it lives there. He lives there forever. And every birthday of his, every anniversary that we had, it comes up when those days, like May 4th, when we got married, that day is a day for me. And the day
Hmm.
he was born, July 9th, it's a day for me. I always say, oh God, July 9th. He would have been 66 this year.
Uh-huh.
Like I do the math and it's,
Hmm.
you can't, and I get texts from the kids. Today's daddy's birthday. I said, yes, I lit a floating candle outside and I put it on the pool and I said a little prayer to him. Everybody has their way of acknowledging the grief and getting through it.
Yeah.
I love floating candles. I love to sit outside by the pool and light a candle at night, have a conversation with him, say a prayer. That works for me,
Hmm.
you
Yep.
know?
Oh yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, because a lot of us have been through it. A lot of us, again, might have lost a significant other, and a lot of us, yeah, maybe most of us at this point have lost at least one parent. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, the grief really hits you. Yeah, my dad passed away, and yeah, so it was on June 3rd, 2021, and then we actually share a birthday too. So,
Oh,
so that can be kind of tough, and
what a
yeah.
great day, the day you were born on his birthday. That
Yeah,
must have been unbelievable for him.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
Same name and everything.
Oh,
So yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's right. You are a junior. That's right.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I think my mom appreciates what you're saying because yeah, she's gone through it and everything
Yeah.
too. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was widowed at 46, which is a lot easier than when you're 76 or 80
Hmm.
and you lose your lifetime's significant other.
Hmm.
That's harder.
Yeah.
I was still young and feisty, and I wanted to share my life with somebody. I started going into the dating world, which was like, but but a, there's a lot of crappy people out there, but
Hmm.
there are a lot of
Definitely.
really good people.
Yep.
You just have to weed through them and find them,
Hmm.
you know? Don't give
Yeah.
up hope, guys. Guys, if I can get through what I get through, you can get through anything. Trust me.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm going through a little bit now with my dad, as I mentioned,
Hmm. Yep.
93.
93. Yeah.
I'm watching him dim. I don't know how else to say it, but dim,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know? And I know it's coming, but you never prepare yourself until it
Right.
happens, and then you just, go through it. I'm gonna look back at my father's life and go, "Oh my God, he had a great life."
Hmm.
My
Yeah.
dad is one of those few people I know that, other than the divorce with my mom, which by the way was his fault anyway, but he had a pretty great life. He didn't have a lot of big bumps like I did.
Hmm.
A lot of big life lessons.
Yeah.
So I always tell him, Dad, you're 93, you don't have any pain. There's people 30 years younger than you that live in pain.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah. People like half the age, half his age, or yeah. Yep.
He still has his children, he still has his grandchildren all around him. I mean, what more do you want in life?
Hmm.
Yeah, he can't drive a car. He can't go in his workshop anymore. But he can go in the workshop with my brother when my brother's assisting him. It's just his balance is so bad, we're afraid he's going to fall.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know. There's going to come a point where he looks at me and goes, I'm tired, Linda. And
Hmm.
when somebody starts to say that to me, I know that they're kind of over the hump now.
Yep.
They're
Hmm.
tired of fighting it.
Hmm.
And living in a 93-year-old body, you have to be a warrior every day because your
Right.
body is failing you.
Yep.
GI tract, how long does it take them to take a pee? The older you get, the prostate.
Hmm.
Let's. It's true.
Yep.
So,
So yeah, just be grateful for every moment. Yeah.
and about aging, girls, because aging is a big thing. It's just part of life. It's a change that we go through, and let's face it, it's not for the better.
Hmm. Yeah.
But we got to keep going. I mean, just
Hmm.
accept who you are. I look in the mirror, I'm always going like this. But on the neck especially. But you have to love who's looking back at you, and that's the bottom line. You got to know who you are as a person and be comfortable with that. And for me to come on your podcast and air all my dirty laundry, it's obvious that I'm very comfortable with who I am. Yeah, I'm just like everybody else. I made bad choices. I made bad decisions. I didn't listen to my gut.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Yeah, we talked about that last episode, how important that is. And you learn from your mistakes. Oh, I should have listened to myself. So just be aware of that. Yeah, just today, I keep tracking this out. Just today, I got an email from vice president of publishing from Simon & Schuster, and they had a lot of details because I'm writing a book and I just got published in an anthology, and they had all details and everything, and it sounded promising. They wanted to talk to me about editing and stuff, and so then I looked at the email that it came from, and it was a legitimate person. The person's name is really the vice president, but then in the email address it's at Simon Schuster, but it is missing the U in Schuster, so it was like a scam. So like something in the back of like you were describing, like the hair in the back of your neck, so that kind of stood out. And
something's not right with this.
I said something's not right, and then I found it. So yes, I gotta trust your gut when you got those hairs sticking out. You gotta trust that, and
There's so many scammers out there. Be very careful of them. I got scammed for $20,000 on my children's book. 20 grand.
Oh wow!
I thought the guys were in California and they were in Pakistan.
Yeah. And with AI and everything, it's so easy for them to do that. Because they make it look real.
Yes.
Yep. So be careful. Listen to your instincts.
Yeah. You trust me, I'm not making those same mistakes again.
Yep.
I met a guy who wanted to bring the book to a movie. And I had my friend come on the Zoom call with me. Mm-hmm. And during the conversation, she looked him up. Mm-hmm. And I get a text, because she's in Indiana, I'm here. I get a text, do not give this guy a cent. We'll talk after the Zoom call. Here I am being transparent about my life, right? And this guy's got a bigger past than I ever did. Needless to say, and he denied it, by the way. When I confronted him, because I'm not that type of person that just sits back. He denied it, and I just said, look, we're not going to work together. Mm-hmm. And my friend said, I just saved you $10,000.
Wow. Yep, so be careful out there.
Yeah, careful.
And that's what happens when you're like, we're both like open books, so our information's out there, so that's the thing. Like, it helps a lot of people. I'd like to think that it helps more people than
Yeah, but it gives opportunity for the scammers to really get, they get your information and so forth.
Yep.
So I don't know how to end it. I just want to give encouragement to both women and men, but mostly women, like, because this is a male podcast, I might as well say women and men. But life is going to throw you curveballs, and I think I mentioned Steve lost a child to leukemia. My other half.
Yeah.
And I think that lesson is a lot harder than the lessons I went through. Mm-hmm. And mm-hmm. It's all perspective. There's always somebody that's worse from you, that lives through a more horrific experience. And then there are always people that are better than you. So it's everybody sooner or later is going to have some shit hit the fan in their life. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, just live your life, and you can't really compare to others.
Yes.
Especially when you're working on something, you can't compare, like you're in the process of something, and compare to somebody that's already, been through it and everything. They're at a different level. You can't compare your level 3 to level 10 or whatever. So
exactly. Exactly.
Which can be easy to do with social media, but so just keep at it, keep moving forward, and live your life.
Yep. I am truly happy in my life now. So
Yeah.
I'm doing
I
the
feel
plumbing.
that.
I'm doing podcasts. I'm getting the book out there, and life is good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't always good. So just remember that you have to go through the crap to get to the other side. That's what I always say about grief too. You got to go through it to get through to the other side. You got to feel it. You got to feel your mistakes, feel what you did wrong, understand it, and then never repeat it again. I should have been a counselor.
There you go. Well, you're helping people now. You're doing counseling, basically, giving your stories. So thank you for that.
Absolutely my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you again for joining me this week and giving your time and helping a lot of people out. I really thank you so much. And
I hope people had a good laugh on some of the things.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I hope they took something away too.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, and if anybody's listening, let us know. Drop in the comments. I want to hear from you. I want to thank everybody for listening and watching. And thank you, Linda. I really appreciate this.
No problem, Paul. You and I will stay in touch. Don't worry. You can't
definitely.
get me so fast.
I love it.
We'll do a TikTok live together.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care.
That's all for now. TTFN. Enjoy the weekend.
And remember,
be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes!
Sit, Lizzie, sit. Good dog.